If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Ode Osbourne back on the show. He's going to make his UFC debut January 18th in Las Vegas at UFC 246, taking on Brian Kelleher. Ode, how are you? You're at school, I see.
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, that's just, like I said, that's the only time I can find to do this is on my lunch break. So, we got to knock this out real fast and then I'll get back.
Well, I appreciate it very much, you taking the time in the middle of your workday. So the debut is set. It's ready to go. You get to do it on a fight card headlined by Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone. This is quite an event to kick off your UFC tenure, is it not?
Yeah, it is, man. I'm excited for this card. I really am. To be able to fight on the biggest, probably one of the biggest shows of 2020 is definitely a blessing. So I can't complain.
After having the performance you had on the Contender Series, a lot of people were wondering, asking me, when's Ode Osbourne going to make his UFC debut? They're hoping it would happen sooner rather than later. We had to wait a little bit for it. So timing-wise, does this line up with what you were hoping for?
Yeah, man. I try to be as patient as I possibly can. I know I was getting a lot of people messaging me on Instagram and stuff like that about when I'm making this my first debut. And my thing was just be patient. He's going to come. I knew it was going to be something great because I didn't question my coaches. I didn't question my manager. I just did my thing and I waited patiently. So I'm blessed that it's on this card. I think the timing is right and I'm probably in the best shape of my life that I've ever been in. So I'm ready to go out there and terrorize people.
What have you been able to do over these last several months as you're waiting patiently for that contract to come? Were you able to grow and evolve and do all these other things? You were probably using your time very wisely, knowing you.
Yeah, man. How did you know? I was able to plan a lot for, upcoming school year. So that's what I used my time for, just to, get mentally ready for the school year to start because it was summertime when this all started. So, I was able to get mentally ready for school and school started. So now I'm, I'm in it. So it's good, man. I like it. I love it.
How important is that for you to sort of have a life outside of the fight game? A lot of the fighters, they're engulfed in it 24/7, 365. You have other outlets. You have other ways to work and use your time so you could take your mind off the fight game a little bit. Is that beneficial to you?
It definitely is, man. It brings balance to my life. I've said that before. It brings me balance to my life right now. And a lot of people don't understand it. For me, fighting isn't always fun. It's not always fun. Training isn't always fun. It's fun a lot of times, but it's not always fun. And when I come into the school and I'm able to be with the kids, they make, they bring such joy in my life. And so when I go back to the gym, I'm uplifted. So I'm able to really give it my all. And then vice versa. Being in school is not always fun. These kids can get on your nerves. They can do a lot of stuff. I love them to death, but man, they can get to you. So when I go into the gym, I can be able to let my endorphins out and then go into the school and just rock it out and give these kids my all. So I love the fact that I'm able to do both. And it's not about the money for me. I don't need to work here, but I do it because it's the joy it brings. Because I've said this before, not a lot of these kids have, role models in their life and stuff like that. So I enjoy it. It's a good balance.
Speaking of training, the last time we spoke, you had told me how pivotal the move to Pure Vita has been for your career. Zak Otto and the coaching staff really gave you their blessing to just be you, to be Ode Osbourne and have fun out there. On top of that, the last time Kelleher stepped into the cage, he fought your teammate in Montel Jackson. So obviously with you, whether Montel was your teammate or not, I'm sure it wouldn't have affected your preparation for this fight at all, but it's still good to have him there, be able to pick his brain a little bit, right?
Yeah, yes and no. It's good to have him because he's a great practice partner for me. You know what I mean? He's got really long reach. He's really fast. He's incredibly strong. So he's a great practice partner for me. And he makes me a better fighter. I make him a better fighter. But no, because I don't really study my opponents. I think we touched on that our last interview we did. I don't really study their film or watch what they do. So as far as picking his brain, I kind of just I don't know. Most people would say that, it's kind of it wouldn't be it's a wise thing to know everything your opponent's gonna do, but I think sometimes the unknown is much better, because then you're worried about so many other things going to your fight, being too cautious. I just want to be able to go in there and do whatever I want to do. I don't really care what he's gonna do or what he's thinking about doing. I know what I want to do and what I'm thinking about doing, and what he does don't really make it. It don't really make it. It don't matter to me.
It's just a different game
So
now than it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Like the game just evolved, and when a fighter goes from fight to fight, things could totally change. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and they have all these like analysts. People have like these. They have managers that specify in studying film for their guys. I tell my trainer, like, look, I tell my coaches and everybody, like, look, I really don't want to know what my guy does. I keep telling them that, like, I don't care, and it's a lot of times. I think most coaches are stuck in that traditional mindset of we want to be able to break this guy down. We want to be able to break this guy down. We want to be able to use his weaknesses and that. But I think that's good for some people. But I'm a reactionary fighter. I fight based off of reflexes. So the less I think, the better fighter I am. So working on moves that is the best thing to do for me. Because if I work things that he's good at, I'm not going to be able to execute my excellence. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes sense. And Brian I talked to Brian last week. He's obviously a very exciting guy. He's picked up some big wins in the UFC. He's been in some very fun fights. But he's also on the last fight of his deal, and he feels like, in a way, his back's up against the wall. He's taking this fight very seriously, and he told me he's treating this fight like it's his UFC debut. So with all that in play, and I know you're not an X's and O's guy in terms of your opponent, to me, hearing him talk, he is taking this fight very, very seriously, and I think you're going to see the best Brian Kelleher maybe any of us have ever seen. So that's going to fire you up, knowing that you're going to get the best version of Brian Kelleher. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, no, I hope I get the best version of him. I want to be able to get the best version of everybody, because I don't want anybody going out there and saying that I'm getting easy fights or anything like that, because I've had this thing my whole career, people saying, oh, I've never been tested or I get easy fights. But it's not that I've never been tested or I get easy fights. I just make them look easy. I go out there and I terrorize people. That's my job. And that's what I'm going to do to him. I'm going to go out there and terrorize him and put the pressure on him. Everybody always say they're going to do one thing, but it's one thing to say something. But when you actually feel my pressure and you feel it, it's a completely different ball game. When you witness it, when you witness the force and the ferocity that I bring, it's completely different. So you can plan for one thing, but when the heat goes on you, it's a different story, So I hope I get the best of him, man. I really do. I hope I get the best Brian Kelleher, because I want to be able to just shut it down, like just lights out.
How has the reaction been with everyone at home, the school, all the students? I don't know how many students are on the pulse of mixed martial arts in the UFC, but I'm sure they know you have a fight coming up. How is their reaction knowing that your date's finally booked here?
It's good. I don't really talk about it too much to them, to be honest, because once again, I compartmentalize my job here at Woodlands and my fighting. So I try not to talk about it too much to them, because I want to have two separate worlds here. When I'm in the gym, I want to be able to dial in 100%. When I'm in school, I'm in a different mode, different space, as to say. So they're excited for me because they follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. But I don't really talk about it too much. We're trying to focus on getting their grades up, getting test scores, all kinds of stuff, improvements on their behavior. That's the one thing I try to focus on the most. I really don't talk about fighting that much to them.
That makes a lot of sense. In terms of the fight itself, how do you see this all going down on January 18th? I mean, I know you're not a big prediction guy or anything like that, because you're a reactionary fighter and things can happen in so many different ways.
I see it being pretty dominant. He doesn't pose any kind of threat to me. I'm gonna go out there and pretty much do what I want to do, which is I'm gonna put the heat on him. And usually when I put the heat on people, it forces them to wrestle me. So I see it being me putting the heat on him with the hands right off the bat. Probably trying to wrestle me or shoot him. Probably a couple pull counters going to be there. But I see him a lot. That's just what I see from just by how he fights. Because my coaches have told me kind of just by Montel, they've said like, oh, this and this and that. But just by a little bit that I've got, I see it being me just pressuring, a lot of pressure. He doesn't strike me as too aggressive, but if he does come aggressively, I love it. I love when guys are aggressive because I use that as bait. That's why I keep my hands down, because I want you to punch me. I want to invite you inside of my wheelhouse, so I terrorize you. I call it terrorizing because I think that I just go. I have my energy can go forever. I can just go and go and go and go. And that's I think that's the reason why USADA showed up. Man, I haven't fought once in the UFC, and I swear USADA's been at my house probably like about 6 times. USADA's been at my house 6 times since Contender Series. No jokes. They've been like, man, this guy, he must be on something, because ain't no way he can go this long and fight that crazy and some stuff. So I'm just like, I love it because it's a compliment to me. It's a compliment to me because us Jamaicans, man, we just have that we're just a rare breed, and we're able to do those things. Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world. I don't know what it is, if it's the island or what, but we're just blessed with that capacity to just be able to take it to the next level. And that's what I'm going to do with Brian Kelleher. I'm just going to take it to the next level. I want to make him look like a pup, you know what I mean? Like, I want to just, like, crumble him, like, crush his spirit within, like, the first minute. Like, I'm hoping to end it within the first 2 minutes. Don't get me wrong. The fight goes the distance. It'll go the distance, but it's going to go the distance of me, going in on him for 3 rounds. It's not going to be, like, no decision. It's either my decision is the only way he can get out of there is by referee stoppage, or he's going to be unconscious. But we'll see. Predictions always change, and anything can happen. I can go out there. I always say I can go out there and I can get knocked out. I can go out there and get submitted. That's a fight. Those odds are always anything's possible. But I already know what my mind's like, and it's incredible.
You may very well be in the most interesting division, top to bottom, in the UFC right now. I mean, we saw what Petr Yan and Marlon Moraes did on Saturday, getting wins. Jose Aldo is in there. He looked really good. Frankie Edgar looks to be heading there. We'll see what happens on Saturday, but there's just so much going on at 35 right now. How excited are you for the future fighting in this division?
Man, I am so excited. You have no idea, because I just want to be able to test myself in ways that I've never been able to test myself. And I don't know, a lot of these guys look impressive on TV, and they look they look like they're very well rounded. But I've always felt that about people that I'm about to fight. When I fight them, everything is so easy for me. When I fight, it's just like, man, it's like, are these guys really that impressive, or is it just the hype? So I'm waiting. I'm excited to test out and see how impressive these guys really are. You know what I mean? I'm ready to see if it's all the hype or they're that impressive. I don't think they really are that impressive. I think in a lot of ways, fighting is just, I think it's kind of trickling off. You know what I mean? It's kind of trickling off. But the hype is still up here, but the talent level is kind of trickling off. And I'm about to expose some people, so I'm excited about that. It'd be cool to fight him someday, because I like, before I had my first amateur fight, I sparred with him in Florida, and man, he was such a cool dude. Actually, he was super dope. And I don't know if he remembers me, but we sparred. I went to his gym, and he was like, he was like such a beast. He was just like, he was tearing me up. We were amateur. I was amateur. I've never had, this is before first amateur fight. He was tearing me up, and I was like, man, now looking back, it was so great to see where I compare now. You know what I mean? Like, I was, that would be great.
Well, I'm excited for this fight on January 18th. Ode Osbourne taking on Brian Kelleher at UFC 246. Thank you for the time, Ode. I know you're in the middle of your lunch break. I appreciate it very much. But before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, shout outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
Just follow me on Instagram at Ode Osbourne. Shout out to Iridium, my coaching staff, my friends and followers. That's a part of the Jamaican Sensation from day one. Stay tuned, man. See some devastating performance you've never seen before. So I'll keep an eye out. I'm going to be best performance on the card. I will not even hesitate on saying that. I don't even care. I'm gonna be the best performer on the whole card.
That is what we like to hear. I appreciate it, Ode. All the best to you for the rest of this camp and on the fight on January 18th. I appreciate it.
Thank you.